of the regular season. Wichita State and Memphis getting together for the second time in about 72 hours as the Shockers victorious over Memphis a couple of days ago, and a lot of milestones and certainly perfection the Shockers are chasing still here in the Missouri Valley Conference. Glad to have you with us here this afternoon. Shane Ennis along with Denning Garrick. The Shockers 19-0 in the league and already wrapping up an American Conference title, Denning, but certainly bigger fish to fry. And frankly, SMU, Temple, and ECU in any other season would be plenty happy with that kind of a season.
Yeah, what a season it's been for Wichita State. 19-0 in the American. They've won 26 consecutive sets. They are the offensive and statistical leader in basically every single category, and it has really just been a record-breaking season on several different fronts. Now,
looking forward to Wichita State's NCAA resume. The Shockers sitting at number 9 in the RPI. In theory, you've got a fighter's chance of hosting if you're within the top 16. It remains to be seen what beating Memphis twice and their 250-plus RPI will do to them.
Yeah, the important thing is that Wichita State gave themselves a little bit of cushion, a little bit of breathing room between that 16 spot, which of course is the magic number. And like you said, Memphis comes in with an RPI at 259, but all the Shockers can do now is take care of business.
Now, individually, of course, it's senior day here for Wichita State, honoring 7 that will be on the floor for the last time in the regular season, but Emily Hebert is having an all-world kind of career for Wichita State.
Yeah, hard to imagine there's been a more impactful senior class anywhere in college volleyball than the one that Wichita State celebrates today. And it all starts with the quarterback. Emily Hebert recently became the program's all-time assist leader, and this whole season has just been a masterclass on how to distribute the volleyball and take advantage of the many offensive weapons the Shockers have.
Another senior for Wichita State that's just having an out-of-this-world type of season, especially within the conference, is Abby Lehman.
Yeah, all she's done since the start of conference play is hit .535 while also leading the American in blocks per set. She had 16 kills on 23 swings on Wednesday against Memphis and figures to be in line for another big match today.
And Michaela Roudsepp may be saving her best for last. She was really good against Memphis the other day.
Yeah, a girl who's been kind of up and down in her senior season, but really seems to be peaking at the right time. 14 kills apiece in back-to-back matches. Hit 500 against Memphis on Wednesday, and looks like the Michaela Roudsepp we saw early in the season.
The Shockers had to endure 2 senior days recently, one in Dallas, one in Memphis. Now they get their own here this afternoon. Wichita State and Memphis coming up when we come back.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Plus Kara Molesky, who is a redshirt junior and saying goodbye to Wichita State after this final regular season match. We are getting set to go. Shockers and the Memphis Tigers. Wichita State dispatching of the Tigers 25-18, 25-10, 25-15 a couple of days ago in Memphis. And kind of a familiar refrain, Denning. Memphis hung around for a set, but Wichita State pretty much pulled away the final 2. We've seen that a lot this year.
Feels like we've used the same script for virtually every match. The Shockers use set 1 as a feeling out process and then put the foot down in sets 2 and 3.
The Shockers get on the board first, 1-0 here in set 1. Shockers going with familiar 6 out there. Abby Lehman, Emily Hebert, Georgia Chivita, the redshirt freshman libero, along with Gabby Mostrom, Michaela Roudsepp as well. And we hit on it at the very top, but I think it bears repeating, Denning. Abby Lehman inside the conference is doing something historic. Only 2 other players in the country have done what she's done inside the conference.
Hit better than 500 since the start of conference play, and it's not just like she's at 501 or 502. She's at 535. It has been just a crazy good year.
Georgia Chivita, speaking of Gio, she most recently became the most prolific freshman ever at Wichita State in the dig category. She's supplanted Melissa Granville from 11 or so years ago as far as the digs are concerned from a freshman.
You're going to hear a lot of most blank ever in talking about Wichita State season this year. A lot of milestones, to be sure.
And a rare attack error for Michaela Raudsep. She had at least 20 swings the other day in Memphis before her first error, and talking with Chris Lamb after the match, she kind of thought a couple of her littles let her down a little bit. The ball was kind of went high in the air and ended up falling to the Shocker floor. A good effort by Kronberg on the back Memphis libero, but Alex Kuhn with the kill for Wichita State. Memphis is a team in the rebuild mode big time, Denning. Their top 9 attackers will return next year. Unfortunately for them, they'll be missing their top 2 setters, 2 of the 4 seniors that they have.
Yeah, they utilize kind of a 6-2 offensive system with a couple of setters, Faith Myers and Reagan Comperry, a couple of seniors, and that's good, but it's difficult to kind of integrate a bunch of new faces with senior setters who haven't ever worked with them before, haven't gotten the timing down, and it can be difficult to make that work.
Tabitha Brown stuffed at the net. This is something that Wichita State really exerted on Wednesday against Memphis, and that was their presence at the net. So I imagine April Howdeggy, the head coach for Memphis, thought, hey, maybe we might want to return the favor on their senior day. So pretty good presence there at the net for the Tigers.
The Tigers are last or next to last in a lot of categories, but in blocks they're 7th, averaging a little more than 2 per set, and so it's something that they're more than capable of doing.
Another kill for Abby Lehman in the middle for Wichita State. Denning told you she's hitting well over 500 in the league overall this year, hitting .440. They had 9 total blocks in Memphis the other day, Wichita State did, and now the Shockers have edged out in front 5-4.
Something that Chris Lamb has been talking about a lot lately is trying to find a second middle in addition to Abby Lehman, and it looks like it's Brooke Smith who's getting the first call here this afternoon. A nice job on the block assist there with Brown.
Nice little touch set up by Faith Myers for Memphis, and the Tigers continue hanging around. It's 5-5. Memphis did the unthinkable Wednesday. They hit 314 in the first set against Wichita State, which never happens. Unfortunately for them, the Shockers hit 485, so they were just outgunned. But normally you don't see that kind of efficiency from a Shocker opponent.
Against Wichita State, opponents are typically hitting 148. So you're over 300, you're doing something right.
Point Wichita State is that pass to Tabitha Brown, not exactly right on the money, but she made the most of it. Kind of took a little off just to ease it over the net. Hebert went to both knees to try to set her up. 6-5 Shockers. Emily Hebert to serve. That's Kate Hordeman, number 10 from Memphis. She had 4 kills the other day. And off the block, goes out of bounds. Point Shockers, 7-5 Wichita State. Shockers off to a bit of a sluggish start statistically, only hitting above 200, 222 at the moment. They came out Wednesday, had their foot on the accelerator, never let off. They hit 457 for the match in Memphis. Raudsep with a big swing. Kronberg the dig for Memphis. Hannah Shelton, one of the Shocker seniors, digs one out, and another. Kelsey Bivens with a nice dig. And this crowd starting to get excited here in set 1 as the Shockers have scored 3 in a row.
Great job by Hannah Shelton keeping the ball alive a couple different times, and Hebert tried to go cross court here to Tabitha Brown, but the Tigers got themselves set up defensively. Ultimately, it was a swing from low that went wide of the table.
Tip over the net by Deja Lowe, number 2. And a stuff at the net as Tabitha Brown turned away, and Hannah Shelton couldn't quite one-arm it. A lunging effort gives a point side out to Memphis.
Well, Memphis looks like they are definitely prepared for Tabitha Brown on this near side. They've had a couple blockers waiting for her on every swing.
Service ace for Memphis, and here come the Tigers with 2 in a row. Yeah, it was basically Raudsep and Lehman on Wednesday for Wichita State, and they did virtually whatever they wanted to. Brown mixed in 9 kills on 18 swings, but they were all unbelievably efficient, as the numbers would tell you. But again, Memphis apparently has made a few adjustments. 9-7 Shockers. Gabby Mostrom to serve for Shockers. Memphis is without one of its top attackers. It's 4 matches in a row that Ty Bieria will not play in, so they're a tad shorthanded. Kuhn tried the left side and just out, so an attack error for Wichita State. Let's Memphis come crawling back in at 9-8.
It's 5 attack errors already for Wichita State, something that has not happened very often at all this season, but like you mentioned, just kind of a sluggish start.
They had 8 attack errors the entire match against Memphis on Wednesday. Off the slide, Brianna Kataku, who had 7 kills and frankly just didn't get enough swings from Memphis the other day. 7 kills and 14 total attempts. She hit .429 against Wichita State in Memphis.
Really exciting sophomore, has the length and the athleticism to be an impact middle in this conference for years to come. Good swing there.
And out of system, Memphis couldn't scramble in time. That was a really nice exchange between Chivita, and then Hebert and Brooke Smith put it away.
Brooke Smith has been trying to make her way back from a concussion suffered earlier this year, and so much of volleyball, especially as a middle, is timing. Recognizing when to go with that second ball over, recognizing when there's a quick coming, and Brooke Smith is just kind of trying to get the rust off, work back into the flow of things a little.
Deja Lowe tried to attack around the Shocker wall at the net and sent one cross court way wide. So an attack error by Lowe. And the Shockers with a 2-point lead here in set 1. Trying to find that patented run that Wichita State is known for, and that block at the net turned away by Memphis. Shockers up by 3 now, trying to get a little traction, get a little footing here in set 1.
Nobody in the conference is better at turning free balls into points than Wichita State. They do a great job of getting set up, giving Hebert all of her different options laid out, and it seems like she's going to make the right decision every time.
So the Shockers let Memphis creep back into this one, and we'll see if they can pull away for good. They actually trailed Memphis 8-6 in the first set on Wednesday, and then they came roaring back, scored 7 of the next 8 points. And it was all Shockers from then on. About this point in the match, Wichita State starts to figure some stuff out. And as Denning told you, uncharacteristically, Shockers not very efficient offensively so far. Kuhn sent it across. Raudsep through the block. Sheer power that time by Michaela Raudsep, who had 14 kills on Wednesday.
That's the kind of Michaela Raudsep that the Shockers have been waiting on. She went through a couple rough stretches during this season where she was essentially a non-factor, but when she is going well, she's a big-time right-side hitter who can definitely make an impact.
Michaela 3rd on the team in kills this year. Point Memphis, that upsets a little 4-point Shocker run. It's now 14-10. Faith Myers, one of the 4 Memphis seniors, will serve for the Tigers. And a service error. 15-10 Shockers, and we got a timeout on the floor. First set, Wichita State up by 5 on WSU TV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Wichita State trying to just kind of slog their way through this first set. They have not been very efficient, or certainly not what we're used to. 5 attack errors already for Wichita State. Shockers only hitting 150. Shane and Denning back here at Charles Koch Arena on the Shockers senior day, trying to sweep Memphis, get to 20-0 in the league. This would be the 3rd time that Wichita State has gone through a league unblemished. Previous 2 times, obviously, the Missouri Valley and the American Conference. This year, the Shockers have not dropped a match since Iowa State over 2 months ago. They have not dropped a set in about a month, and the Shockers lead 16-10. If they win this set here, this will be an all-time program record for consecutive sets won.
27 in a row, really hard to fathom, and a lot of them have been in fairly convincing fashion. We've seen a lot of 25 to 15 or less matches and sets in that run. It has been something to behold.
This is certainly putting the cart before the horse, but if Wichita State should sweep this match today, by the time they play their next match, it will have been over a month since someone even won a set against Wichita State. You got to go back to October 27th. Central Florida pushed the Shockers to 5 sets. It's been sweeps ever since. And they're going to say Emily Hebert got a little too overzealous there. Shockers still in front by 4, but the point goes to Memphis. Take another look.
A little bit of an overpass by Mostrom in the back row, but Emily Hebert typically so good at directing that ball over.
Through the block, Alex Kuhn, point Shockers. Alex Kuhn with her 2nd kill unofficially. It's now 17-12 Shockers. Tabitha Brown checks in for Wichita State. Shockers, as usual, spreading the wealth. Lehman with 3 kills, Raudsep and Kuhn with 2 apiece. Big swing by Hordeman. Chivita was there. Raudsep took a little off. Kronberg dives in to save the day for Memphis. And Hebert gets the kill that time. She puts it away for Wichita State's 18-12 lead here in the first.
Shane, you and I had highlighted earlier in the season how adept Emily Hebert was at that 2nd ball over, and American teams started to make an adjustment to it, so we saw it less and less as the season has gone on, but she's still able to take advantage of those opportunities.
A heads-up play there in the middle by Kataku. Sent it down to the Shocker floor for an 18-13 deficit for Memphis. Yeah, Hebert the other day in Memphis only had 3 kills. You know, earlier we're talking about 6, 7, sometimes 8 kills for Emily Hebert, and just that, what you were discussing, where she can either set up a teammate or send it over herself. She's doing that less and less now.
But that's something that she's added to the arsenal, is it isn't a direct, sharp angle down to the floor. She recognizes that defense are sucking up, protecting against that 2nd ball over, and there's plenty of room in the back row.
All the way to the back tape on that particular kill for Emily Hebert, and now it's 19-13, and Memphis' April Howdege wants to call a timeout. So the Shockers leading 19-13, closing in on yet another set. This would be 27 straight. 26 in a row, the previous record they have now tied. That goes all the way back to 1992, and you would think almost every single record, Denning, is in the Chris Lamb era. That's one of the few that's not.
Yeah, you're talking about a record coming before rally scoring. You're talking about a record that predates Chris Lamb and his tenure. It is really impressive stuff.
You can stop by the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes 2 hours prior to all WSU men's basketball games. Enjoy great game day specials on food and drinks. It's a perfect place to meet up with friends before all the men's home games. If the Shockers are on the road, you can catch all the games on TV at the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes. Lower level in the Radigan Student Center. You'll have your next opportunity Tuesday night as Savannah State comes to town to take on Wichita State in men's basketball. So the 20th ranked Shockers trying to get to 20-0, 28-3. Another record kind of on the horizon for Wichita State's, and that's total victories, 28. 28-3, that winning percentage. Just unbelievable what Chris Lamb has done year after year. Just had a read about the men's basketball team and what Greg Marshall's been able to put together. Chris Lamb won't take a back seat to anybody in this conference when it comes to head coaches. Lamb in his 18th season at Wichita State will be coaching in his 11th NCAA tournament come next week at a site and against teams to be determined.
Got to look there at some of the timing issues that Brooke Smith is trying to work her way through on the set there. Just mistimed the jump, and ball was headed down as she was going up.
Reagan Comperi, a service error. Comperi and Faith Myers, two senior setters from Memphis that will depart after this year. They had 4 seniors that they said goodbye to on Wednesday.
3 service errors now by Memphis as well. They haven't helped their cause with that.
Hordeman rejected at the Shocker net, but Memphis kept it alive. Nice dig on 2 knees by Kelsey Bivens. Comperi setting up low. Hebert to Raudsep. How about that? Little Pele action. Nice job by Bivens, improvising. Well, they did everything but score the point there.
You had an opportunity for kick save and a beauty, and you didn't go with it. I respect that, but that was a heck of a play.
Yeah, you don't anticipate somebody kicking it to keep it alive. So at 21-14, Wichita State closing in on 27 in a row. If you're looking for a gift for your favorite Shocker fan, you can stop by the University Bookstore for their annual 12 Days of Christmas sale. Goes from the 27th all the way through December 9th. You got new sale items added each of the 12 days. And if you prefer to shop online, you can do that at wsubooks.com. And if you spend over $75, you'll receive free shipping. University Bookstore will have extended shopping hours on Saturdays during the University Bookstore's 12 Days of Christmas sale. It goes from November 27th through December 9th. Are you a Black Friday guy, a week of Christmas guy, or the day before Christmas guy? Do you fall under any of those categories?
I enjoy the people watching that comes with Black Friday. I don't partake in it necessarily, but I just kind of enjoy the atmosphere a little bit.
So Wichita State leading 21-14 over the Memphis Tigers. They have, again, hit an uncharacteristically low 161 with 7 attack errors in this first set. Certainly hadn't been a thing of beauty, but it's a bottom line business, I think, especially Denning at this point in the season. It's so late in the season, you just certainly got a little look ahead factor because you know you're going to the NCAAs, and you just try to get your way through this senior day.
There's a lot that would lead to Wichita State playing poorly this afternoon when you take into effect they've already wrapped up the conference. They've just played Memphis a couple days ago. Thanksgiving was yesterday. It would be hard to have that edge that you might expect for a big-time match.
Raudsep, a little soft touch across. Big swing there by Bivens. Chivita there to dig it out. A little soft touch in the middle by Sarah Marlette. Out of system, Memphis has to send it over. Hordeman does so. And Raudsep gets the kill for Wichita State. The Shockers have methodically, slowly, and surely pulled away from Memphis here in the first set.
Not a whole lot of big swings to be found, though. Michaela Raudsep in particular is having to use more finesse, guiding the ball into some open areas of the court.
I think that's another thing that we've seen more and more over the last couple of weeks, too, is less and less wind up and hit a bullet type of swings, and you're just trying to find some open floor. A lot of soft touches over the net.
I imagine a lot of that has to do with the fact that the more you play, the more scouting film there is available, and the more that a block can get set up in the position which you typically like to swing. And so then you have to make your own adjustments.
Kendall Searing, a defensive specialist to serve for Memphis, one of the 4 Tiger seniors. She played briefly on Wednesday. Timing off a little bit for Wichita State there, another attack error. And that gives a point to Memphis, 22-17 though. The Shockers only with 3 more to get. Searing to serve again. Good pass to Alex Kuhn. Boy, Memphis did the hard part, and then kind of a flat-footed attack sent across, wide, out of bounds, point Shockers.
That was a rocket off the arm of Kuhn, right at a Tiger defender, and it was more a shoulder dig than anything else, but she kept it in play.
Chivita to serve for Wichita State. Gio, the redshirt freshman from Italy. Low, the big swing. The Shockers kept it alive. Raudsep, the big swing. Kronberg on the back. Kataku, like we said, didn't get a whole lot of swings Wednesday, but she was efficient when she did. Number 22 in black. Gio with another dig on the back. And a little change up by Alex Kuhn. Just what we were talking about. Worked to perfection that time.
She's one of the best on this Wichita State roster at taking a little bit off on her swings. And sometimes it looks like she's just flat-footed trying to guide the ball to the other side, but seems to have an innate feel for where the defense isn't.
Serving for the set, Wichita State, and Gio goes to a knee to keep it alive. Raudsep tried to end it. Good dig by Compere. Through the block, it's out of bounds, and Wichita State, more history. 27 consecutive sets won by Wichita State, an all-time program record. 25-17 in the first set. Set number 2 coming up when we come back. You're watching the Shockers on on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
After the match, you know, Wichita State is going to have a big party as the Shockers seniors departing, but the 4 Memphis seniors as well honored by Wichita State. It's kind of an interesting and a nice touch here in the American as the Shockers went to Dallas and Memphis on their senior days. Shockers seniors were honored, vice versa here this afternoon.
Yeah, and for Memphis, a team that is going to be so heavily reliant upon youth and kind of building towards the future, it's easy to lose track of the couple seniors that they have, but you can never really underappreciate players who put 4 years of effort into a program, trying to build something, working towards something, and I think that certainly deserves being honored, being mentioned, and I think it's a really nice gesture to do it on the road in addition to at home.
Very nice. Wichita State taking the first set. They ended up with 15 kills to 8 for Memphis. Shockers only hit 167, but they held Memphis to 054. So now the last 3 sets they've played against the Tigers, Memphis has hit a negative 086, 152, and 054. That's certainly statistically more like it for Wichita State, even though they were subpar offensively themselves.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a feel-good set. I'm sure there's plenty that Coach Lamb is over there talking up and coaching about, but they were really able to limit everything that Memphis was trying to do offensively. Aside from Kataku, there was virtually no threat from any of the Tigers' outside hitters.
Michaela Raudsep took almost twice as many swings as any other player on the floor. She had 16 total attack attempts, put 4 of them away. She was had 14 kills on 24 total attacks all day against Memphis on Wednesday. Had 16 swings in that first set. Chris Lamb had Emily Hebert looking for her early and often. So that teams change ends of the floor. Again, the Shockers have now won their 27th consecutive set. That's a school record. Trying to become the first team in the American to go undefeated since Louisville did it 4 years ago. Louisville went 18-0. The Shockers looking to go 20-0. And again, they'll have a selection show coming up on Sunday night, I believe. Wichita State will have a watch party, find out where they're going, if anywhere. They may end up staying here. And that would be another milestone in the program. Just add that one to the list.
You know, one of the most impressive things about this stretch of American Conference play is not only the string of 27 straight sets won, only once in those 19 matches have they even gotten pushed to 5 sets. So there's that occasional random set in which a team is able to play well. Maybe the Shockers play poorly, but it's just like a minor blip on the radar, and then everything's back to normal. It's just been incredible to watch.
And in that run where they haven't dropped a set, going back to the South Florida match, you'd have to go look it up, but I bet it'd be few and far between when a Shocker opponent even got to 20. You know, we're talking about getting to 25 and holding the other team to the teens oftentimes. Outsep with a big swing, but a good job by Faith Myers. Perfectly positioned. And Abby Lehman, there's not much stopping that. That quick in the middle from Hebert to Lehman, kind of a broken record. We've said that over and over and over, not only this year, but over the last 4 years between these two.
And if you watch the feet of the Tigers defenders here, watch them slide up to try and protect against the second ball over ability of Hebert. And when the back row is vacated, it leaves plenty of room for Lehman to capitalize.
A soft touch by Hannah Flowers. She's been quiet. And a rare attack error by Michaela Roudset. Flowers only had 2 kills in that first set on 6 total swings. Hannah Flowers, 6'2", right side attacker. Bivens serving for Memphis. Boy, nice job by Emily Hebert to keep that alive, and on the Shockers side of the floor. Attack error by Memphis gives the point to the Shockers. Trying to go cross court, and Georgia Chivita was last line of defense. She made the right decision. Let it go.
That's not an easy decision to make when the ball's coming at you at that rate of speed, and you have to judge the trajectory and where your own body is positioned in accordance with the tape.
Flowers with the kill for Memphis. Hannah Flowers had 6 kills on Wednesday against Wichita State, only hit 111. On the season, she is under 200, but a really nice swing that time to get the Tigers even 2-2. Lehman, a little changeup for point Wichita State.
I wonder how much Wichita State's going to use Abby Lehman in this match. If they want to save her legs just a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised, or kind of treat her like a break in case of emergency, or otherwise they'll just try and get some other hitters involved.
Lehman 5 kills and 7 swings. No errors, 7-14 of the Shocker All-American medal. Well, Memphis takes an early lead here in set 2. They put together a few things offensively the last couple times.
Yeah, you can see the promise from a lot of these young outside hitters. They definitely have some potential, and the question is going to be how they will adjust with those 2 setters moving on. That's an interesting roster dynamic to watch.
Hannah Flowers did the honors a moment ago. Tabitha Brown smacks it right into the net. And now the Tigers with a 2-point advantage. I think this crowd is sensing a party, and they're a little anxious to get it started.
I don't disagree. And I think, I don't want to say you would ever want to play poorly, but I wonder if this is the kind of match that could give Chris Lamb an opportunity to kind of bring some things up and say, hey, we're not perfect. There's plenty of stuff for us to work on.
Well, in this run through the American, as we've chronicled statistically and otherwise, the Shockers have really rarely been tested. On the other hand, they have rarely shot themselves in the foot, kind of like you were talking about. Do does Chris Lamb have their total undivided 100% attention when you're just steamrolling through the league? And I think the answer has been a resounding yes before today. Now, it remains to be seen what will happen the rest of this match, but overall, Chris Lamb has had very little to complain about as far as his team's preparation and execution.
And set one is pretty indicative of what you were talking about. They didn't necessarily play well and won by 8 points. It's kind of hard, you would think, to maintain that level of focus throughout.
Brooke Smith with the kill for Wichita State. And now the Shockers have knotted it up at 5.
Great arm speed there from Brooke Smith. She looked like she was ready and anticipating the pass that time from Hebert instead of jumping too early, too late. Very nicely done.
And to your point earlier, Denning, if you want to make sure that Abby Lehman has enough in the tank later on, you set up Brooke Smith a little more often and maybe Abby Lehman a little less. That's just speculation, of course.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Shockers go to Smith early and often this afternoon just to try and get that feel back, just to shake the rust off a little bit more, because everyone has to contribute if you're going to win in the NCAA tournament.
Laying in weight in the middle for Brooke Smith that time. And likewise, just inside the pin, Tabitha Brown, 6'6". This is, and talking about Memphis, they're just kind of playing out the string, obviously. Nothing to play for necessarily with their 10 and 21 record, but they have certainly been ready for the Shockers, so credit to them. Brooke Smith, a little change up for a point, Shockers.
A girl who has taken a lot of lessons and a lot of pages out of the book from Abby Lehman. And what a great girl to learn from, to just watch how she plays the game.
Brooke Smith has 3 kills already. Great effort by Hannah Shelton and Emily Hebert. Now the Shockers are in scramble mode, and a block in the middle by Brooke Smith gets this crowd fired up.
Those are the kind of points you're just not supposed to win. That was a rocket swing that Shelton was able to just get a palm to. Hebert with a miraculous dig to keep it over. And then Brooke Smith in the right place at the right time with high hands.
Big swing by Kelsey Bivens, a 6-foot outside hitter. Gets the Tigers within 1.
Shockers really took her away on Wednesday. She had 2 kills on 23 swings, hitting the negatives, but a junior college transfer who these Tigers have really leaned upon to provide some experience.
They beat Tulsa last weekend in a match where she had 40 swings. And Brooke Smith, talk about the secret square, she is really emerging as a factor here in set 2.
Job by Hebert on it. That's a difficult pass to make. It requires a little bit of touch, and of course the timing is important too, but putting it right in the shooter's pocket, right in a spot in which Smith's swing is going to angle it downward.
Mostrom serving for Wichita State. Kataku dug out by Georgia Chivita. Through the block, Tigers keep it alive off the swing from Raudsep. Hebert sets up Smith again. She's taking a lot of swings here in the second set. Great dig by Emily Hebert. Soft touch, Hebert. Gio setting up Raudsep for the point. Michaela Raudsep, a lot of swings in that first set. Took some time off here in set 2 and then cranks it right back up again.
She'd been calling for the ball that entire point. She, over here. She didn't get it as they went to Smith in the middle, but finally it was Chivita on the bump set, feeding her perfectly and led her right to the net for a good swing.
Raudsep's first kill of the second set. Shockers with a 10-7 lead. Raudsep, back-to-back points, 11-7 Shockers. And a timeout for April Howdigi, the 10th-year head coach at Memphis. The Shockers trying to pull away here in set 2. You're watching WSU TV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Shockers bidding to win their 28th consecutive set. They won set one 25-17, so that set the record, the best streak in school history. 27 consecutive sets won and closing in on 28. Shane Dennis, Denning Garrick back here at the Roundhouse. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. And wrapping up the regular season here this afternoon. Service error by Gabby Mostrom gives the point, the side out to Memphis. 11-8 Wichita State in set two. Faith Myers going to serve for Memphis. Shockers having to go through SMU's senior day, Memphis senior day. They're going to celebrate one of their own here this afternoon. Chase Jackson with a couple of swings for Wichita State. And she'll make it a third and point Wichita State. Chase Jackson and Brooke Smith, a couple of those reserve players at Wichita State working in here early this afternoon.
Yeah, don't be surprised to see Wichita State go to the bench early and often here this afternoon, get some players involved, and try and ensure that everybody is playing at a pretty high level as you enter postseason play.
Brooke Smith and Chase Jackson, both just freshmen. Mostrom sprawled out, tried to dig that one out. Point Memphis. 12-9 Tigers.
That was Kataku again on the slide. Fifth in the American in hitting percentage, coming in at .309. And another one of those young players who Memphis can absolutely look to build around.
She had 14 kills against Tulsa and hit .370 in 27 swings, Kataku. Timing wasn't there for a rare time between Hebert and Lehman. Ball handling error gives a point to Memphis, 12-10. And that's just long off the hand of Kelsey Bivens. Shockers won the first set 25-17. And they just kind of kept the Tigers at arm's length here in the second. Back set and a big swing by Flowers. And a bit of a changeup by Abby Lehman, but for as many times as she's hit a bullet that's been dug out, I guess she'll take one of those now and then.
When you have to prepare for that kind of max velocity and then anything else comes at you, it's got to be difficult to defend. And even when she doesn't catch it cleanly, sometimes the timing is good enough where with that kind of angle, that kind of trajectory, it's almost impossible to dig out.
Yeah, even not at full velocity, that's not a bad thing. Porterman with an attack error. Point Shockers. Kate Porterman had 4 kills on Wednesday, had 4 kills in 25 swings against Tulsa last weekend in a match that they won 3-1, only their third conference match that they won, and one of them was really memorable. They beat Temple back on November 3rd just before the Owls were coming to Wichita, and we were all very surprised that Memphis knocked off a very good Temple Owls team, and as it turned out, Wichita State took care of them too.
I think we speculated during that match as we were watching it and staying updated, watching it as our own match was happening, that maybe Temple was looking ahead just a little bit to Wichita State, and that's kind of been the MO. As the Shockers have had the target on their back the entire conference set, and it hasn't mattered.
Shockers swept the Owls, in case you forgot. Chase Jackson getting a lot of swings here lately after Smith got a handful a moment ago. I don't know if that got over the tape or if Wichita State stuffed it, but either way, Shockers now with a 7-point advantage.
I mean, Memphis did a lot of things right in this point. They did a good job of staying isolated on that far right side against Chase Jackson. They got a couple deflections, but the back row for Wichita State did a great job of getting set up, keeping balls in play, and eventually the block slides over to put it away.
Ataku in the middle. The Shockers were ready for it. And now Wichita State starting to pull away. Timeout, Memphis. Wichita State leading now 18-10. They're hitting 280 in the set and trying to make it 2 straight here at Charles Koch Arena.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Shockers comfortably in front here in set 2 as they try to sweep their way through Memphis here on senior day. Hey, on Tuesday night, the Shocker men's basketball team back in action. Stop by the Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes 2 hours prior and enjoy the great game day specials on food and drinks. Perfect place to meet up with friends before all the men's home games, and if they're on TV, you can catch all the games on the tube. Shocker Sports Grill and Lanes, lower level in the Radigan Student Center. Nearly turned into an ace from Michaela Raudsep, but all it did was prolong things long enough for Emily Hebert to spike one down with her left hand.
Shane, we talked a lot about how Wichita State doesn't have the service ace numbers that a lot of other teams in this conference do, but they still win the service game because they put their opponents in a bad position, get themselves set up, and are able to put points away fairly easily.
Yeah, that is, I don't know if point of emphasis is the correct phrase to use, because I'm sure Chris Lamb would like as many service aces and pressure on teams as he can possibly get, but yeah, that's not a big part of Wichita State's game. They only have 92 service aces on the season. However, you can't argue with the results. Shockers rarely tested and undefeated in the conference despite some just modest service numbers. 20-10 Shockers here in set 2. Chivita with a one-arm dig. Chase Jackson stuffed at the net, 20-11. And as you speculated, Wichita State getting plenty of contributions from the bench. Chase Jackson, Brooke Smith. Now Jenny Whitledge is going to enter the match, one of the Shocker seniors. Get some PT here today. Kronberg to serve for Memphis. Kronberg to dig. Libero on the back for Memphis. Boy, I don't know how you can describe that one right there. What happened between Hebert and Lehman in the middle.
E.T., I think, is one way to... Emily Hebert on the run, somehow able to redirect it backwards over her head, and somehow Abby Lehman knows that that's coming. I don't know how that works, but it did.
Is that the basketball equivalent to a no-look pass?
Yeah, I guess. To me, the pass is impressive. It's knowing that that pass is coming.
Right.
That is even more impressive.
Through the block point, Memphis, they get a little closer, 21-12. That's playing a lot of volleyball with one another, I would guess. Maybe the easiest way to describe it. But even then, that's hard to expect. Service error, 22-12 Shocks.
6 service errors now for Memphis. In case the hill wasn't tall enough to climb already, they have not made it easy on themselves.
Shockers 3 points away from 28 consecutive sets won. Lehman to serve for the Shockers. So Jenny Whitledge out there, Hannah Shelton, a pair of seniors along with Hebert and Lehman.
Kara Molesky's out there.
Yeah.
Not a senior, but she will be graduating after this junior season and ending her volleyball career. So her last regular season match here at Charles Koch Arena.
Illinois native Kara Molesky, number 18, taking a swing there. Brown, nicely done. A little finesse from Tabitha Brown gives the Shockers a point. Now they're serving for their 28th consecutive set.
Hadn't heard much from Tabitha Brown early in this match as Memphis really tried to take her away, made her a point of emphasis. She was hitting in the negatives before that swing, but nice touch.
A little bit ahead of myself. Shockers 23-13, so not serving for the set just yet. And that'll have to wait a little while longer. Serving for Memphis, 6'3" middle Sarah Marlatt. Brown set up beautifully by Hebert. Now the Shockers are 1 away. The assist to Emily Hebert, her 24th all-time leading assist player at Wichita State, most recently supplanting Mary Elizabeth Hooper in that match down in Dallas against SMU. Mostrom, one of the Shockers seniors, to serve for the set. The crowd on its feet. Big swing by Chase Jackson. Whitledge kept it alive. Molesky sends it over. '28 straight for Wichita State. One more to get before we have a huge party at Charles Koch Arena. The Shockers take the first 2 sets, and Wichita State goes to the intermission that close from perfection in the American. 25-17, 25-14. Back with some stats and a visit with Jenny Whitledge when we come back. You're watching the Shockers on American on WSU TV.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee, steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Hasn't always been a thing of beauty, but I guess that's what Wichita State will do to you, spoiling you as far as high level of volleyball. Shane Dennis, Denny Garrick back here at Charles Koch Arena. And the Shockers, for them, Denning kind of at some points in the match looked like they were kind of running in place, but they eventually got it all figured out.
And I think we anticipated something to the effect of that just with the context of this match. The day after Thanksgiving, the American regular season title already locked up. It would be easy to kind of take the foot off the gas, but I also think there's some value in winning when you're not playing well, and that's what the Shockers have done so far.
And the Shockers emptied out the bench, so to speak. A lot of reserves got into that match and actually played pretty well too.
Yeah, got the seniors involved, got a lot of the depth involved as we saw them pretty much emptying the bench, getting some players some valuable time on the floor. Chase Jackson was able to put that, ultimately that second set away, and the Shockers just kind of getting everyone involved, getting their feet wet.
And speaking of the seniors, one of the Shockers seniors, Jenny Whitledge, who has seen her playing time dwindle just a little bit, got into that match in the second set, contributed, and we had a chance earlier to sit down and visit with Jenny.
This season has just been unreal. I can't believe I'm even part of something that's so great. I actually posted a picture the other day on Instagram just saying how amazing we've done this year. We're number 16 in RPI. We're undefeated in conference. Which is something we didn't think that was going to happen because it was a new conference. We had no idea who these people were and what they had to offer, and we were just jumping into the unknown. But our team has really reacted very, very well, and the travel has been amazing. We've gotten to go to new places and experience new things, and when we're on the road, we get to do other things to just get out of the hotel room, and that's something we really didn't get to do up in Iowa or Illinois or any of those places. So it's very exciting. This is the most excited I've been about a season, a postseason. It's the most excited I've been about a team in general. I think we all get along very, very well. And us as a senior class, we've all stuck together pretty well when it comes to just adversity and trying to take care of things on the team, deciding things. We've done it very well together. We've all meshed very well. Our chemistry as a team is great. The senior girls they're amazing. I wouldn't want to go out with any other group of girls, honestly. And coming in here with Abby and Emily, we all roomed together since freshman year, so we've been together for 5 years. And then on top of that, we have roomed together in our apartment too. So I've been with those girls literally every day for 5 years, and I can't even explain the feeling because for us, it's just every day is just another day. And I think as we get closer to the end, I think that we're starting to realize, it's almost over. And we've gotten very emotional at the house often, and they're just like sisters to me. I mean, we've all been through some very tough times as any girl would through volleyball, but we've always been very close together. And those are just the girls that I've been with since, day one. But Michaela, I couldn't have a better leader next to us. I couldn't have another girl that is gonna help us as 3 seniors lead, because she's also a senior, but she's done very, very well. And Kara, she's a light. She has so much energy and positivity, and she just smiles all the time, and it's just amazing. And then Gabby and Hannah, they're 2 peas in a pod. I mean, you couldn't separate them from the day they got here. And while we all had our times where we weren't very close, or we are very close, I think us as a senior class we have 7 girls, and I think that you couldn't find a tighter 7 girls than us. I'm very excited to go into the postseason with these girls and see what they want to offer up for emotions and excitement and how they want to grind through the rest of this. Well, yesterday in practice, Lambeau actually said, how many of you guys are actually counting down the days until season is over? And all of us seniors really did look at each other, and we just kind of started tearing up a little bit. It's almost over, and like I said, you don't really know what's next, but we're so excited just to finish out the season and see how strong we can. And all the emotions are getting pretty high for us as seniors, and we're knowing that it's over. But I think that kind of drives us a little bit harder just to be a little more intense, and every play counts and every practice counts, and this could be our last. And it's just getting down to those final weeks where, this could be your last practice, and this could be the last time you see all these girls and play with all these people. So.
Well, if she thought that was emotional at the house a couple of weeks ago, wait till Wichita State finishes off Memphis here this afternoon. Jenny Whitledge, the senior from Tonganoxie, had one of the Shockers' 41 digs in the first 2 sets, both won by Wichita State. We'll be back with more at the intermission when we come back.
Wichita State University's Barton School of Business has a long history of producing successful graduates. That legacy will grow as Wichita State builds a new business school facility on the Innovation Campus. This $50 million facility will bring students, faculty, and business together in an environment that inspires creativity, collaboration, and entrepreneurial energy. To attract the best students, Wichita State must provide an up-to-date facility combined with an applied learning experience that will give graduates a competitive edge. A campaign is underway to raise $28 million in private funds for a new home for the Barton School of Business. Your support is vital. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders. Contact the WSU Foundation at 316-978-4076 or visit wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
Michaela Raudsep got a lot of swings in the first set in a set won by Wichita State 25-17. 25-14 in the second set, but Denning, they certainly spread the wealth a little bit more, as Chase Jackson actually had the most swings in the second set for Wichita State as they started to integrate a couple of players off the bench and spread it around a little bit.
It's really been the MO for Wichita State's offense this entire season, is just put a bunch of weapons around Emily Hebert and let her make the right decision. You know that she's going to do that most of the time, and when it seemed like Memphis was trying to take Tabitha Brown away early, they were able to kind of slide over to Michaela Raudsep, get her going, and then finally Chase Jackson to finish it off.
Jackson had 9 swings in that second set. Brown, Brooke Smith, and Abby Lehman had 6. Michaela Raudsep, after having 16 total attacks in the first set, only had 5 in the second. I think some of it is a function of getting some other players into the match.
Yeah, and that's something I'm sure Chris Lamb wanted to do, is make sure that everyone was playing at a pretty high level as you move into postseason play. And Michaela Raudsep is a girl who we know that if Wichita State's going to make any noise in the NCAA tournament, they need her playing at her absolute best. When she does, she's a big-time right-side hitter, but she's also had some matches where she's been pretty quiet this year.
And Wichita State victorious in the first 2 sets. They now have 28 consecutive sets that they've won. Certainly plenty of highlights to sift through. Although Wichita State not at its high efficiency, high octane normal self.
No, it was definitely more of a grind. They had to win some points that didn't necessarily look pretty. A lot of swings that were more finesse-oriented than the big, powerful swings that we've seen. That right there is a great example of it. Abby Lehman having to get that ball with just her fingertips and guide it across. But ultimately, they did more than enough against a Memphis team that really couldn't get much going offensively.
And that was pretty much the long and short of it, the way Wichita State has held teams down with their attack percentages today, no different. Memphis attacking at 0-26, shades of Wednesday's second set on from Wednesday until now. It's just been a suffocating Wichita State defense, really.
Forced the Tigers into 14 attack errors. Wichita State committed 12 of their own. As you mentioned, they only had 8 in that entire match against Memphis on Wednesday, so that's something to correct. But just the way in which they are able to scout an opponent outside hitter and recognize where she likes to go with the volleyball is very impressive to watch.
So it'll be Flowers, Bivens, Myers, Hordeman, Marlette, and Lowe out there to begin with. Kataku, I beg your pardon, and Kronberg also out there for Memphis. Wichita State, their familiar bunch out there, loaded with seniors. Raudsep, Lehman, Hebert, and Mostrom, the seniors among the bunch out there for WSU. And Abby Lehman starts things off with a shocker point.
She was kind of the saving grace in those first 2 sets, hitting 700, 7 kills on 10 total attacks, even though they weren't all necessarily perfect. A lot of them like that, in which you had to guide it into the donut in the defense.
Lehman with 0 attack errors in her 11 swings so far here today. Big swing by Flowers off a shocker hand or 2 and out. Tiger point.
Flowers with 12 double-digit kill matches on the season. She's capable of carrying an offense at times. She had a season-high 17 against Central Florida earlier this year.
Chase Jackson with another kill for Wichita State. Boy, she has taken some big swings here. That's her 10th total attempt here this afternoon.
Yeah, you like to see Chase swinging it with some confidence. Good pass, too, leading her right up to the net. She had a full head of steam and put a good swing on it.
Shockers had 4 blocks during the first 2 sets. Chase Jackson was involved with a couple of those. Kronberg just sent it across. Well, you could see that one coming, too, because Wichita State so often times, Denning, when Emily Hebert's just hanging around the net and not having to really get near the 10-foot line, you know good things are coming.
Yeah, when she's able to distribute with her feet set and less so having to move around, that just means Wichita State's probably going to get themselves a good swing out of it.
Flowers just had to send it across. See if the Shockers take advantage again. Jackson, a little change up that Bivens handles. Flowers through the block. Chivitas Johnny on the spot. Flowers kind of an awkward attempt and actually got a pretty good swing on it. Point Shockers is just inside the pin. Chase Jackson strikes again.
Good back pass there from Emily Hebert. It's always right on the money, and Jackson swinging it with abandon. This is something that Wichita State really likes to see from their outside hitters, is just get up and swing it. Good things will happen more often than not.
And found the Shocker floor. 4-2 Wichita State. Chase Jackson's season high in kills is 5, all the way back on September the 2nd on 12 swings against Miami. Service error gives point side out to Wichita State.
And I wonder if Coach Lamb kind of saw that she had done something in practice that maybe had earned her a little bit more time, just felt like she was going to be a piece that they needed to integrate as they move into postseason play. But whatever it is, they may have found something here this afternoon.
One player that the Shockers haven't seen much of, or maybe any of, is Emma Wright. And so maybe Chase Jackson has slid into her opportunities that she would have been getting. Alex Kuhn's kind of been quiet today too. So Wichita State's had a lot of interchangeable parts really come through today, namely Chase Jackson. And to some degree, they're a little flurry in the second set, Brooke Smith. Jackson kept it alive, but nobody was home to help her out. 5-4 now, Shockers, and what they hope is the final set of the regular season. A little soft touch by Raudsep, and a little more velocity on that one, but Memphis was up to the task both times. Raudsep, was that off a hand? Nope. 5-5.
Just didn't catch it clean, it looked like, as the pass led her tight to the net, but it seemed like a fairly good opportunity to put a good swing on it, and just struck it a bit too long.
Marlatt, big swing, and Hannah Shelton digs it out. Low through the block. Brooke Smith trying to sneak attack there in the middle, but Memphis was ready for that too. A little miscommunication there. See if the Shockers take advantage. They do. Well, if you don't handle the ball almost perfectly, if you're Memphis, you're kind of playing right into the Shockers' hands because they don't make many mistakes.
All it takes is one mistake, it seems like, from an opponent during the course of a point in which you can do a lot of different things right, but there's some miscommunication. If you have to free a ball over, the Shockers will take advantage more times than not.
Mostrom to serve. Shockers up 6-5. Hebert to Tabitha Brown. Brown's 5th kill. Shockers lead at 7-5 here on Senior Day.
7 players with 3 or more kills as they continue to really share the wealth, and Tabitha Brown, after a slow start, is kind of beginning to come into her own a little bit here in sets 2 and 3.
Well, if Chase Jackson does anything at all the rest of the match, she'll have season highs in kills and total attacks. And as Denning speculated and nailed it right on the head, Abby Lehman having to play less and less. The fewer swings, the better when you can still stave off an opponent. That's what is looking like is going to happen for the Shockers today.
Yeah, I mean, save your legs. The less jumps, the better. The less opportunities, and forcing them to have to make big swings, and just you want to rest these players as much as possible. The regular season can absolutely be a grind.
There's Abby getting a bit of a rest. Yeah, there have been 28 total attacks between Chase Jackson and Brooke Smith.
And you don't want to have to think about this now, but these players are going to have to step into bigger roles next season when all the seniors depart. And so we could be getting a look at the future of Shocker volleyball right now.
Shockers up 3, 9-6 after that most recent kill. Raudsep to serve. Shockers leading by 3. They won the first 2 sets, 25-17, 25-14. I was just getting ready to say that's the kind of ball handling error is probably not the right word, but getting into system is so vital when you play Wichita State, because if you don't, and of course the communication there broke down as the ball wasn't sent across in 3 hits, but you get the idea. You slip up just a little bit, the Shockers are there ready for it. Overpass, Shockers couldn't turn that into a point. Kronberg sets up Kelsey Bivens, and the Shockers score again. Hebert with the kill, it's now 11-6. And stop me if you've heard this before. Wichita State trying to pull away from Memphis, and a timeout on the floor as the Shockers lead at 11-6 here in the 3rd set. Shockers hitting .412 in this set. Be back with more right after this.
Introducing Dunkin's new cold brew coffee. Steeped slowly in cold water for small batches with an ultra smooth, full-bodied flavor. Discover the craft of cold brew today and keep on. America runs on Dunkin'.
Shockers on the cusp of their 11th NCAA tournament appearance, but first things first, senior day here at Charles Koch Arena. The Shockers trying to sweep yet another American Conference opponent, get to 20-0 in the league, and 28-3 overall. Michaela Raudsep to serve for the Shockers here in the 3rd set. Raudsep stuffed at the net, but Bostrom kept it alive. Nice dig by Hordeman on a big swing by Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown with that sheer velocity off a couple of hands, out of bounds, point Shockers.
Shockers did a great job, too, of reversing court as the swing on the far right side from Raudsep was initially turned away, and Hebert recognized the defense flowing in that direction, was able to go back to the left, and Tabitha Brown had a one-on-one matchup.
Hebert's 32nd assist. And another kill for Wichita State. Brooks Smith on a ball that just creeped over the net, stuffed it right back down to the Tiger floor.
Example number 736 of you make a mistake and the Shockers capitalize.
Wichita State coming into this match was hitting an obscene .301 on the season. Now their output today, or effort today, will probably dip them below 300, but the all-time single season attack percentage mark, 309, was certainly within reach. But the effort today will probably derail those opportunities, although, Denning, once you get to NCAA play, Shockers don't figure to be hitting in the 400s like they have against Memphis and others, but quite a season for Wichita State any way you slice it. Jenny Whitledge should check in for the Shockers, and likewise Kendall Searing, the senior from Memphis, to serve. Chivita setting up Tabitha Brown. The crowd can sense it now. This one is out the gate for Memphis, and the emotions will run higher and higher the closer the Shockers get to closing this out.
Georgia Chivita now with 4 assists, by the way, for Wichita State. She's done a good job distributing the volleyball in those bump sets whenever she has been asked to do so.
Bostrom with a great dig. Bivens, deep. Point Shockers, 16-7.
A senior whose name we hadn't gotten to call much of yet this afternoon was Mostrom, and she just threw an arm up in the back row to keep that point alive initially.
Shockers, little run spoiled there by Brianna Kataku, 6'2" middle for Memphis. Faith Myers to serve. And they're going good, going good. Emily Hebert with a kill.
It's been pretty easy for her to redirect those second balls over this afternoon, as Memphis has not been able to time their jump in the middle to defend against it. She's now got herself 5 kills on 6 total attacks in addition to the 32 helpers.
And you hear the phrase in sports all the time, does she have eyes in the back of her head? But that last attack by her, it's like she knew exactly where everybody at Memphis was on the floor, and she just found some open space, even though it was directly over her head.
It really is like a sixth sense. She's able to just have incredible court vision, knows not only where her own teammates are as far as setting them up, but also the defenders.
Abby Lehman with a big swing. The Shockers cruising now.
And the crowd has started to come into it a little bit here in sets 2 and 3. I think, like you said, that halting first set in which it was kind of stop and start took them out of it just a little bit, but they can sense it now.
Well, these fans, I'm sure, are holding out hope that Wichita State can have some more volleyball this year in this building. But just in case they don't, you would like to see the vast majority of these fans stick around for as long as humanly possible to enjoy this group and this group of seniors.
Yeah, soak up every last point that Hebert and Lehman and Mostrom and Shelton and all the other seniors are able to contribute, because they have put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to building this program to the heights in which it currently sits.
And if for no other reason besides the 100 that we've stated, when you finish the conference perfect, that's special. 20-0 is a mind-boggling and staggering number in any conference.
And what's impressive is this is the 3rd time in the Lamb era that that's happened. They went undefeated twice in the Missouri Valley Conference, I believe back in 05 and 07. And the fact that it is happening for a 3rd time in the first time going through a conference is just special stuff.
Again, in the American, it did happen in 13. Louisville went 18-0. The Shockers went 18-0 in the Valley, as Denning mentioned, in 05 and 08 were the actual years, and now that close from going 20-0 in the American. And 4 more points to get before the party really starts.
Lehman's working on a pretty special afternoon right now. We mentioned she didn't play much in that second set, but she's now got 11 kills on 15 swings and hitting .733.
With each point, it's going to get louder and louder in here. And 3 more for the Shockers. And you can almost tell, Denning, that those on the floor and even those that aren't starting to get a little emotional, a little excited. They can see it. It's on the horizon.
That's a cool moment right there. Kara Molesky off the bench, getting the block assist alongside another senior, Michaela Roudsep. Fun stuff.
And there has been 0 drop-off in the production, as Memphis just can't get anything going. And here we are, serving for the match and serving for these seniors. Party will have to wait for just a little bit as the Tigers get their 11th point. Reagan Comperry is going to serve for Memphis. Perfection achieved. The Shockers go 20-0 in their maiden voyage in the American. Wichita State has won 29 consecutive sets. They hadn't dropped one since late October. What a season they've had. Wichita State is now 28-3, and they complete a perfect run through the American.
And they did it following the same script that they've done virtually all season. Feel an opponent out in the first set and then absolutely put the hammer down in sets 2 and 3 as the scores just got increasingly wide in terms of their disparity. Set 3 was never even close, and the Shockers used their depth and their talent to make it look pretty easy.
And look at the placards in the stand saying 20-0. Everybody now officially able to wave them. Wichita State goes undefeated in the American. Can't imagine that Chris Lamb, even in his wildest dreams, drew up a script like this.
It's so hard to predict what was going to happen just because there was so little familiarity with all these teams. There were so many opponents in which it was the first ever meeting period. And for Wichita State to do this in such dominant fashion, like you said, hard to expect it, hard to imagine this was even possible.
They were rarely even pushed in this league. They went 5 sets at UCF, but no such trouble in any of the other matches. We'll step aside for a moment, come back and enjoy the celebration after this break. You're watching the Shockers on WSU TV.
Wichita State University is preparing today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. The Shock the World campaign is raising $25 million in private funds for a new home for the W. Frank Barton School on the Innovation Campus. Invest today in tomorrow's business leaders by calling 316-978-4076 or visit www.wichita.edu/shocktheworld.
To the victors belong the spoils. Shockers with their championship lids, championship t-shirts, 20-0 placards, and all the rest. Wichita State really earned it, not only here today, but all season long. They go 20-0 in the American, haven't dropped a set since October 27th, and were only pushed to 4 sets on a couple of 3 other occasions. At Temple, here against UCF, here against SMU. But the kind of role that they've been on, Denning, over the last month or so is almost beyond words. They absolutely took apart SMU on their senior day and, of course, buried Memphis on Wednesday. But all the teams that fancy themselves of having a good year, and there were at least 3 others in this league, ECU, SMU, and Temple, it all paled in comparison to the Shockers.
To me, it was that SMU match in which it was just, this is a second-place team at home on senior day with an opportunity to challenge the Shockers to get back into the conference standings theoretically, and Wichita State absolutely never gave them a chance to breathe as part of what has been just a dominant run pretty much from start to finish.
Joining us now at the table, Associate Athletic Director Becky Endicott. And Becky, first of all, thanks for your time. Denning and I speculated before the match started what 2 matches against Memphis and their inflated RPI would do for or maybe against Wichita State. In your experience, how will Wichita State be RPI-wise at the end of the weekend?
Well, I think the good news is that the committee started meeting on Wednesday, the NCAA Volleyball Championship Committee. So today's match probably isn't going to make a difference. They would have had to seed the top 16 prior to today with conference tournaments going on, because they've got to move on to the bracket. And they've got to take the bracket and then take those top 16 seeds. I think it's a little different than men's basketball or women's basketball, where we're used to seeing the seeding be 1 through 64. In volleyball, they're only going to seed the first 16. So I think we'll be below 15, but you just never know. And it depends on who our people above us are actually playing today as well.
If you had to guess, what are the chances Wichita State has some more volleyball in this building?
I don't know, because each committee's different. I did have a long conversation with Gene Berger this week, who used to be the chair of the volleyball committee. I think our challenge is going to be what's happened in the state of Texas, in that really Texas and Baylor are the only two teams that are going to even make the tournament in that state. And so I think that becomes a challenge also, because they've got to put somebody down there with them. I think the other issue is the Pac-12. Pac-12 is going to get 9 teams in the tournament, and they can't play each other in a first and second round because they're all in the Pac-12. So all those people are going to have to get shipped somewhere. So I think it's going to be a unique year as the committee tries to decide what they're going to do and where they're going to put people.
Well, one way or another, you're going to have a watch party and you're going to go to your 11th NCAA tournament. So all's well that ends well, regardless of where it is.
Yeah, we're so excited for this group, and I'm so excited for our fans. I mean, a 20-0 season is unbelievable. I think it's, people realize how hard that is to do, especially in a new conference and new cities and new travel. This is a team that historically has traveled on bus, and now they're spending all their time on planes and in airports and things like that. So we're really proud of this group.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Becky Endicott, Associate Athletic Director. Didn't exactly paint a flowery picture, Denning, as far as more volleyball here, but who knows? And as I mentioned, one way or another, the Shockers are going to get postseason volleyball, and that was the goal all along.
Yeah, the Pac-12 scenario is what's really interesting when you have that many teams getting in, and of course the restrictions against playing an opponent from your own conference forces them to be seated elsewhere. It forces everything to kind of get skewed a little bit. And so Wichita State, bottom line, they took care of their own business. They did exactly what they had to do. They won every game in conference play by a convincing fashion, and everything else is out of their hands. They've done their job.
Special video presentation here honoring not only the Shockers, but the seniors and their tremendous year this season.
Wichita State plays its first ever American Athletic Conference volleyball match tonight.
Round set puts it down. And a gorgeous touch by Roundset.
It's blocked by the Shockers. Abby Lehman.
Lehman was there with that block. What a play by Chivita. Now Tabitha Brown.
Tabitha Brown nails it. Overpass, dumped back by Lehman, and it's over. An overpass by Oschu. Abby Lehman dumped it back for the point.
What a block by the Shockers. Free ball. And that will do it. Shockers take it. Welcome to the American Athletic Conference, Wichita State. going to be a point for the Shockers. Round set once again.
Another kill by Abby Lehman. Preseason All-American.
Kivita to Hebert, dumps and just really jacked it down.
And there's the Shockers again.
Lehman in the middle, Muldrow blocked by Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown, the pass quick in the middle of Lehman, and that one is straight by Condoritas, and then the swing by Emma Wright puts it away.
Shockers, they'll take it.
Quick to Abby Lehman, and she puts it down.
Hebert, Brown, just like that, tic-tac-toe.
To Alex Kuhn, and a hard swing knocks it in there.
And a kill for round seven.
I'd rather be.
This crowd did stick around, and they watched that video just like you watched right there. Pretty cool stuff right there for Wichita State as they go undefeated in the American. And it remains to be seen, as we talked with Becky Endicott a moment ago, Denning, about the RPI. Will it continue to hold up? It's anybody's guess. A lot of things around Wichita State have to shake out as well, but the Shockers entering this week's poll in the RPI at 9. Will that hold up? I guess that's a $64,000 question.
Well, again, I think we talked about this earlier, how the important thing is that Wichita State gave itself a little bit of cushion. Being at 9, a lot more breathing room than being at 14 or 15 and then having to sweat bullets playing against a team in Memphis with a 253 RPI. So I really feel like Wichita State has done enough, but ultimately that's not my call. That's way above my pay grade, way above our pay grade, and something we'll just have to wait and see on.
And you look back at the Shocker Volleyball Classic, September 15th, 16th, and 17th. The Shockers saw Creighton and Iowa State, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if, regardless of the venue, the Shockers get an eye full of either the Cyclones, the Blue Jays, or maybe both when it comes to next weekend.
Because the NCAA tournament, of course, is seeded regionally, and so you've got two of those teams, which are top 20 programs. Yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to have the Blue Jays or Iowa State in here as well, and that was some really fun high-level volleyball we saw there. So I don't think anyone would be upset with that outcome.
So Wichita State, the cutting of the nets, as we mentioned, to the victor go the spoils, and Wichita State's not only seniors but everybody getting into the act and getting to and echo what Becky Endicott said and what we've said. 20-0 is incredibly difficult, and so the party that they're having right now is unbelievably well deserved.
Yeah, there were times during this American season in which you thought that maybe it was such a foregone conclusion that Wichita State was going to roll through, and you kind of lose scope and lose perspective of how just significant this is. For a team to be in its first season in a new conference with no familiarity with any of these programs and to dominate it the way that Wichita State did, that is uncharted territory in more ways than one.
Well, they made quick work of Memphis today, 25-17, 25-14, 25-11. They've now won 29 consecutive sets. That's a program record as they await their fate in the NCAA tournament. They will find out Sunday night where they go, who they play, but either way, Chris Lamb will have his bunch ready and certainly playing a very high level as they sweep through the American 20-0. So the Shockers' NCAA tournament appearance will be their 11th under Chris Lamb, the 18-year head coach, and the program at unprecedented heights, going 20-0 through the American Conference. So for Denning Gehrig, Shane Dennis saying thanks for watching today and all season long here on WSU TV. The Shockers sweep Memphis on this Thanksgiving weekend.
And our soccer senior class, soccer juniors, we have a 5'10" junior from Spring, Texas, number as well.